The ongoing divide within the MAGA movement has exposed deeper racial and ideological fractures that are now coming to light, particularly regarding Indian American voters. In recent weeks, Indian Republicans have faced a harsh awakening as their support for the MAGA base has been met with overt racism and exclusionary rhetoric. This situation has underscored the growing tension between tech-focused MAGA figures like Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk, who advocate for high-skilled immigration, and the nationalist MAGA faction that prioritizes a hardline stance against immigration altogether. For Indian American Republicans, this clash has been particularly revealing. The tech-oriented MAGA wing, led by figures like Ramaswamy, emphasizes the need for more H-1B visa holders to fill STEM positions. However, the nationalist wing, which has formed the bedrock of Donald Trump's support, argues that these jobs should go to American workers. The result has been a public and vitriolic debate, with nationalist MAGA supporters accusing the TechMAGA faction of undermining American workers and betraying Trump's original promises. Examples of this divide are plentiful. Prominent MAGA supporter and Coulter explicitly stated she would not vote for Ramaswamy because he is Indian American, despite acknowledging his intelligence and policy positions. Coulter's comments highlight the undercurrent of racial animus that many Indian American Republicans are now confronting. Similarly, far-right commentator Nicholas Fuentes criticized J.D. Vance for having an Indian American wife, questioning his commitment to defending white identity. Online discourse has amplified these sentiments. Laura Loomer, another right-wing voice, took to social media to argue that America was built by white Europeans and accused Indian immigrants of exploiting the system. Her comments further exposed the hostility toward non-white immigrants within segments of the MAGA base. Remarks like, "We took this country from the Indians once, and by God, we can do it again," reflect the deeply rooted xenophobia that permeates this faction. These developments have prompted a reckoning among Indian American Republicans who had increasingly supported Trump in recent elections. In 2020, Trump won approximately 20% of the Indian American vote, and his support grew to around 35 to 40% among Indian men in 2024. However, this growing support has now been met with backlash, leaving many Indian American Republicans questioning their place within the party. Prominent Indian American voices have begun to speak out. Democrat Neera Tanden emphasized that the Democratic Party recognizes Indian Americans as Americans, while a large segment of the Republican base does not. Similarly, entrepreneur Siddharth expressed regret over his past support for the GOP, citing the party's inability to denounce bigotry as a key reason for his disillusionment. He noted that the persistence of racist tropes and conspiracy theories within the party has made it clear that this behavior is not an isolated issue, but a systemic problem. This is not a new phenomenon. The MAGA movement has long been associated with exclusionary and xenophobic rhetoric. Donald Trump's opposition to the H-1B visa program has been a central part of his platform. He repeatedly claimed that the program undercut American workers and vowed to end widespread H-1B abuse. Despite these positions, Indian Americans hoped that Trump's focus on economic growth and merit-based immigration would offer them a place in his coalition. However, recent events have demonstrated the fragility of this support. Trump's nationalist base has doubled down on anti-immigrant rhetoric, portraying Indian immigrants as threats to American jobs and culture. Social media has amplified these sentiments, with MAGA influencers attacking figures like Ramaswamy and Musk for promoting high-skilled immigration. Contrast this with historical Republican figures like John McCain, who famously defended Barack Obama against racist attacks during his 2008 presidential campaign. McCain's actions represented a more inclusive version of conservatism, one that is increasingly absent from today's GOP. Instead, Trump has built a coalition that openly embraces bigotry, leaving little room for minority groups. The Democratic Party has seized on this moment to reaffirm its commitment to diversity and inclusion. California Governor Gavin Newsom praised Musk's comments about recruiting top talent globally, emphasizing that the same principles should apply to all sectors, including agriculture and construction. Newsom's remarks highlight the Democrats' broader approach to immigration, one that balances border security with pathways to citizenship and workforce development. President Biden has also advocated for comprehensive immigration reform, including measures to address loopholes in the H-1B program and support American workers. His administration's bipartisan immigration proposal sought to create legal pathways for skilled and unskilled workers while strengthening border security. However, Republicans, under Trump's influence, blocked this proposal, prioritizing political chaos over practical solutions. Indian American voters now face a critical decision. Many had hoped to find a home in the Republican Party, attracted by promises of economic growth and merit-based immigration. However, the recent surge in racist attacks and exclusionary rhetoric has forced them to reconsider their alignment. Democratic leaders have urged Indian Americans to recognize this moment as a turning point and to support a party that values diversity and inclusion. This situation also serves as a cautionary tale for other immigrant communities. Trump's rhetoric has consistently targeted different groups, from Muslims to Latinos, and now Indian Americans. The pattern is clear. No minority group is safe from the MAGA movement's divisive agenda. The debate over immigration and American identity is far from over. As the 2024 election approaches, both parties will need to address these issues head-on. For Indian American voters, the choice may ultimately come down to whether they see themselves as part of a diverse, inclusive America or a narrow, exclusionary vision promoted by the MAGA movement. The current turmoil within the MAGA ranks highlights the broader challenges facing the Republican Party. Its reliance on racial and cultural grievances may energize its base, but it risks alienating growing segments of the electorate. Indian Americans, like other immigrant communities, are watching closely, and their votes could play a decisive role in shaping America's future.